Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. We got some great news for the Dallas Cowboys on the injury front. We're headed into Week 17, and I know that good old Jerry. Jerry said, "You know what? We won't play the starters next week. We want those guys out there so they're playing with some momentum going into the playoffs and stuff. We've rested people before, and we didn't have the right outcome. So this time, we're gonna play the game." Okay. All right. So he said that, and okay, you can believe that if you want to. But here's what we got on the injury front. Tyrone Crawford, who, when he went down, when you saw him hitting that double team, hit his head and everything else, and then go backwards, for them to go through not one commercial set, then go to a second set of commercials, seeing the players not just on the Dallas Cowboys sidelines, but on the Tampa Bay sidelines looking concerned. You had to be holding your breath if you were, anybody watching at home, and it makes you realize how dangerous football is. But the great news is he got released from the hospital last night. He was at home, and the tests keep coming back negative. He's walking around and everything else. So, it might have been one of those things where it was just kind of like a stinger jolt to the body, and it just locked it on up and things, and it just wasn't that bad. So thank God on that one. Other news, Anthony Browne appears that there's no structural damage to his back, so he's doing pretty good. And then, of course, Zack Martin. And Zack Martin, again, hats off to this training staff that we've had this year because, everybody gets injuries, but we haven't had them as bad as we've had in past years. Zack Martin, when you've seen him, helped off the field against the Eagles, you had to think the season was done. Everybody knew he was playing on a bad wheel. He'd been playing on a knee that was sprained in training camp. Missed time there, but then came back, played all season with that knee brace and stuff. And you saw him against the Redskins the first game, going to the locker room early at halftime. And then you see him on this one. There was like, he's done for the season. But that guy is one hell of a warrior. For him to just miss one game and to come back and play like he did yesterday, oh my God. And he's been feeling pretty good and no complications from it. So, from the standpoint of having that guy, and here's an interesting take too. After I believe the last 10 games, let me make sure I hold the camera right here. I'm at my in-laws. We're going to be heading home for Christmas Eve in a little bit. But the Dallas Cowboys, I think over the last 10 games, have averaged at least 2 or more sacks a game. And some of those are on Dak holding on the ball. And guys, understand, God, jeez. The stuff you guys say about me and about what I put out there and stuff is getting to be ridiculous. At least if you're going to quote me correctly. I have never said that Dak Prescott deserves $35 million contract and things like that. Okay? And right now, let's be honest here. Right now, you got to pay at least the going rate of quarterbacks, and that is a range between $20 and $30 million. I didn't say you should pay him 30, but I didn't say you should pay him 10. And the reality is, he's going to get probably a 5-year deal that'll be like $100 million. It's the going rate. But regardless of that, the fact that the guy stays, no, you know what? Forget about that. Forget about that. We're talking about the offensive line. The offensive line, 1 sack yesterday. 1 sack. So you saw Xavier Salafalo kind of get his stuff together a little bit. And I know it was only Tampa Bay without a great defense. And I know we didn't get a whole lot of yards and stuff like that, but sometimes you have games that are like that. But they were able to capitalize in the red zone. That's the key. By using Dak, running it into the end zone, okay? Giving him something else instead of saying, let's throw it to Alu. Okay, no, let's use Dak as another weapon. That offensive line came together pretty good. 1 sack. And you're going to need that in the playoffs. I'm sick of you guys saying that we got no chance of left. We may lose. Listen, there's no guarantees in anything. This may be the last video that you ever see of me. There's no guarantees that I'll be around in another hour to do another video. There's no guarantees. But you got to say You got a good chance at anybody. I'm just sick and tired of doom and gloom. Let's see what we're going to see. Let's let it all happen. And let's see when the dust clears, who's still standing there. And if at the end of the day, they lose, I'll congratulate the other team and say, we got some work to do. We win, we love to fight on for another week. But, hey, I'm happy our season is extended at least 1 week. How about yours, Redskins and Giant fans?